You do not need perfection to have a great recital experience. You just need a simple plan to help you prepare mentally and execute. That alone will give you a lot of peace of mind. Hello, my name is Nicole Kovar. I'm with Piano and More, and we create happy musicians and happy performers one home at a time. Recitals are one of the most special moments of the year. I personally really look forward to them, and they're a huge confidence boost to your students when they feel supported. My goal is to give you a clear path on how to have a really successful recital experience. I'll show you how you can prepare at home, what you can expect on recital day, and also how you as a parent can help your child feel like they're a star even before they hit the stage. So let's dive in. How students can prepare for a recital at home. So we had a student come to a recital once, and she had been relying on these little letter stickers on her keyboard or her piano at home that identified the letters of the alphabet, and she had been using those to play her songs. And when she arrived at the recital, she noticed that the recital piano didn't have those stickers, and that completely threw her off. And ultimately, we were able to figure it out. We found a solution. We made some letters out of Post-it notes. She went on the stage and performed really well, hit it out of the park. So it all worked out. But it's those little reminders where the preparation really does start at home. And also, if you do have those letter stickers on your keys, make sure you start to peel those off a couple months before the recital, because you don't want that to throw you off. So one of the first things your teacher will do with you is make sure that you have lots of runway several months in advance to really prepare a song that you can comfortably play in front of an audience. So we usually start to talk about what song you're going to play at the start of a semester, and that way you have plenty of time to really learn it and then also refine it, and then also practice the performance element, which we will dive into in a little bit here. So did you know that there's different ways that you can play your music? For example, there's practice mode, and then there's performance mode. And you want to practice in performance mode at least a month out before the recital date. So the difference between the two is when you're in practice mode, you usually are stopping when you make a mistake. You take time to evaluate the piece. You'll go back and go over that part again and make sure that you are breaking it down into smaller chunks, and stopping and going back and repeating that measure until you get it right. That's all part of learning the piece and practicing. But you cannot do that in a performance. In a performance, you want to slide any kind of mistakes under the rug, and we actually want to practice hiding and minimizing those mistakes as much as possible while you're performing. So that's what performance mode is. What happens if I make a mistake? What do I need to do? And your teacher will go over some of that technique and practice that with you. And you want to start the song from beginning to end, no matter how many mistakes there are, or what if I do get stumped? What's our game plan? All those kinds of things are going to be decided on and then implemented in performance mode. Another thing that you can do to help you get into performance mode is to add that layer of resistance or pressure. So you do want to start getting out of your comfort zone. And ways you can do that is either practice outside the home, practice for your family or in front of your friends, or you can record yourself. And all of that adds some kind of tension, some kind of scrutiny, you could say, where you have to learn to overcome your emotions when you're under that kind of pressure and execute no problem. And you will practice that, and over time, you will get used to that resistance. You'll get used to that pressure, and you can start building that pressure and that resistance. Maybe you'll invite more friends over, more people. Maybe you'll perform in different spaces. And as you practice that performance muscle and you build those reps in performing, it really will get easier over time. Another thing you want to do is you want to practice bowing. So we don't really bow on a normal basis, right? When do you really bow? So you want to practice that. It's something that's new. It's something that doesn't come naturally. But as artists, it's really important that we do bow. And you don't want to leave the stage while everyone's clapping for you and you don't even recognize that there's an audience. You don't say thank you. You don't want to do that to your supporters, to your audience. What you want to do is start mentally preparing as you finish a piece. People are going to cheer you on. They're going to clap and applaud. And so you're going to come towards the audience, and as you're practicing at home, kind of visualize it. Like there's going to be people there and they're going to be cheering me on. So the way I can say thank you is to give them a nice bow. And so just practice finishing your piece and actually come around the bench or set your instrument down, pretend there's an audience, and do a bow and thank your audience. And so these are all simple ways that you can start mentally preparing for the big day. How parents can help support their child. The most important thing as a parent is to keep practice consistent and also encouraging them along the way. If you can include little wins along the way, that's even better. So maybe they are 3 out of 4 pages in. Maybe celebrate once they've finished learning the 3rd page by having like pizza night for dinner or cooking their favorite dinner for that evening. And to be honest, the power of a parent's undivided attention that has no judgment, just simply being proud and supportive of your child, like that I have seen over and over and over again, that is so much more powerful than candy, treats, physical prizes. Like that is the strongest by far. And your children may not even know that, but I can definitely see it in their stature and the way they hold themselves when they get their parents' approval. So I like to encourage parents, take some time out of your day to ask your children to play the piece, or maybe when they're playing, maybe you'll come into the room without them really knowing and you'll just watch them. And there's no judgment, there's no critique, nothing like that. Just having your child see your face full of pride and joy over their hard work and how far they've come, like that's really going to go a long way. So just like squeezing their shoulder or patting their back and being like, wow, that's really impressive. You're doing really well. I can't wait to see you play the whole piece. Those kinds of moments are really going to go a long way. Another thing I like to remind parents is make sure your student, or you, if you're the performer, make sure you're practicing outside the home. And I'm not going to go into detail here. I already did that in another video. It's called The Biggest Problem with In-Home Lessons, which we'll link up top. So if you want to, you can look at it. But that is going to be really important to help set up your child for this new environment and to execute well. Another thing is you and the teacher, you definitely want to be in more communication than normal during this time. Like as you're heading towards the recital, you want to make sure that everything is on track. If there's a way you can help support practice time, like a good practice streak where they're practicing at least 5-10 minutes every day, that is huge. And the teacher will also tell you how things are going and how much to push or pull back, and because every student is different. And if it does look like your child is lagging behind, then again, talk to the teacher. We actually don't have to follow the music sheet like note by note. Like we can adjust and alter the sheet music. In fact, I had to do it many times where we set out to complete, all these pages of the song, and then we realized like the student just didn't have all that time to practice. And so I had to rearrange things, cut certain things out, and that's okay. That's no problem. The main thing is we want to make sure we wrap up the piece in time so that way they have enough time to build their confidence and perform it and execute really well on the big day. So what to expect on recital day? First, we ask that you come about 10-15 minutes early so that way we can start on time. Secondly, we ask that you stay for the entire duration of the recital. Sometimes we'll have families ask us, hey, is it okay that we are the very first performer and then we can head out so that way we can, try to squeeze in a basketball game, a ballet or dance recital, whatever it is. And we basically say it's better that you just pick one or the other. We don't want families rushing in and out, and we also want it to be fair to everybody. So if there's an audience for you, we also expect that you will be an audience for the rest of the performers. The attire for the recital is semi-formal, so pull out your fancy dresses, your shirts, your favorite shoes, and try to avoid the more athletic leisure attire like jeans, hoodies, and athletic shoes. And that pretty much wraps us up. Hopefully you now feel a lot more confident on what to expect and how to prepare for a recital performance. Performing on recital day is not about perfection. It's not about being the best performer even. It's more so of sharing your gift with others. We are so proud of you. This is an accomplishment. This takes courage, and we are so proud of all the work you've done and for being able to be vulnerable on that stage and to present yourself in front of people that you don't even know. We also want to thank the families at Piano and More for being part of the community and supporting us. It's such a beautiful day to see everybody come out. We're thankful that you support music education and that you're supporting these young musicians. If you liked today's content, then be sure to check out our other videos. We have an entire YouTube channel now with videos coming out every single week. And if you are interested in lessons, then I will have a link in the description below where you can fill out a contact form and be matched with a teacher that is already driving to students' homes and teaching in their homes. So be sure to fill that out. You have a good one. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to keep the music going.